there. It's Beards and Bangers. And today you join me for a bit of a bits and pieces video. I'm going to update you on some of the fleet. So I'm actually driving Penelope, or to those who know her well, Penny, up to AJF Motor Engineers, because I'm going to get her oil changed, air filter, oil filter obviously, resistor for the fan done, and get them to have a look over the car, because obviously I've not got a ramp, so I've not been underneath it. And while we're there, we shall have a look at the 190. Sorry, we'll have a look at the 260 first, and then we'll have a look at the 190, and we'll drive back in the 190 because that's had a little bit of fettling done, and I'll tell you more in a minute.
Welcome to Beards and Bangers.
So Penny's been giving me some good service, if that's not a euphemism. Yeah, used her a fair bit at the weekend, which has been nice. I've not had the 190 for a couple of weeks, so it's nice to have a economical, not that the 190 is economical, but it's nice to have an economical run around. Yeah, and it's a good car. It's just me. I've got plenty of space to get stuff in the car. Yeah, it's a real perky thing. But I am beginning to formulate a plan for Penny. So obviously we'll get this little minor service done in the next few days. But then, I've just driven past a Vauxhall Monaro. I wonder if it's the one I saw at the Chiltern Hills rally a few weeks ago. I think it well might be. Anyway, got distracted by an Australian V8. Yeah, so Penny, I think I said in my test drive video, they put about 100 brake horsepower with stupid amounts of torque. But what I would like to do is to actually chip Penny. I'm not going to lower her, because I think it's no longer a Streetwise. It's a ZR or a 25. So I'm going to keep her height where it is, but do a little bit of jiggery pokery with the ECU, but also maybe with the exhaust and the DPF as well. So that's going to be the plan for Penny. Obviously I've got some body work to do, which I'm going to do myself and bring you. So we've got the dent in the corner here, so the front near side corner. We've got a little ding on the door, which I think we can probably just fill. And we've got a bit of paint correction. The roof needs looking at, because the paint's gone really flat, and there is a little bit of lacquer peel in one spot, so we need to deal with that. And the headlining needs doing, which I will bring you. Now the thing with the headlining is I want to give it a Star Wars headlining, which many of you will find controversial. And if you do, then good, because I think this car just needs something a bit different. I'm going to keep the exterior looking completely stock. So we need to do something a bit, just to give it a bit of personality, bit of something a bit different. So if anyone knows where you can get Star Wars headlining material from, then I would dearly love to hear from you. I know people have done Marvel headlinings, but maybe I need to go somewhere a bit more specialist. So yeah, so the idea with Penny is for it to be a really budget project, so not spending thousands of pounds. If we can spend even just a few hundred, that'll be too much. I really want to keep the cost down with this one. So the remap and the exhaust may cost a little bit more, but that's not urgent. The urgent bits are the bodywork and the headlining, and also fixing the window. Something I completely forgot to mention is the window mech for the passenger door, front passenger door, does not work, so we need to get that sorted out as well. So yeah, that's where we are with Penny. So it's still early in the channel for her. I'm going to get up the road to AJF, and then we'll have a look at the 260 and see what's happening there, and then we shall drive home in the 190, and I think the 190 is going to sound quite nice. So if you look at my videos from earlier in the year, this was a familiar sight, this car on this lift. Yeah, I think 194, my 260 has been on this two poster more than it's actually been on the road. In the 14 months I've owned it. So what's happened, so you remember this wing's been sprayed, which you probably can't see, but it looks much nicer than it did. There was a bit of lacquer peel up here, if I point to it, right about there on top of the wing. Yeah, when I collected it from the body shop, I couldn't get it in gear, so the clutch is completely gone. So that's why it's back on the lift. Gonna have a new air housing put in. So remember we've got this K&N that's quite prone at the front here, and the actual air filter housing comes down here. So I've actually got the housing to go in there. So that's going to be done while the car's in the air and the bumper's off. Austin hasn't quite decided how he's going to tackle the clutch yet, whether he's going to drop the engine and the subframe, or whether he's going to tilt the engine with a jack or a lift and do it in situ. So that's yet to be decided. The one thing I'm really keen to know about is the exhaust, because whilst the exhaust isn't falling to pieces, it is, I don't know if I showed you this before, but we've got this, fairly decent bore exhaust that comes down into these funny little pipes here. So we're kind of stifling the car a little bit, bit like what the 190 was doing. So yeah, if anyone's making any exhausts for these cars, then do get in touch. I know someone is going to make them without this Y piece here, and have two banks sort of threaded through there somehow, which is going to sound quite nice. But yeah, we do need to get this car on the road and do some more content on it. It's quite sad, really. No, Penny hasn't been nicked. The boys are using Penny for a chip run, so there we are, driving footage. So what's happened to the 190? There's a bit of an air display going up here today. The exhaust has been fettled into place, so you remember it was sitting quite well back. The one thing you can't see, and I will try and splice a photograph in, is that we've changed the front pipe. So we've got a new front pipe. The old one, I should be able to actually show you this, but I think it should be in the boot. Let's have a little look. Yeah, so this old front pipe, you've got sort of 70mm diameter pipes coming from both banks, so there and there. And then after the flexi, it goes to this really narrow pipe into the cat, and the cat itself isn't that great either. The one good bit of news is the boys did check inside the cat, and it didn't appear to have pooed itself when it was on the dyno. So the sparks that came out of the exhaust when it was on the dyno, we don't know what they are. Could be anything. But yeah, so that's been changed for a much fatter, you've got a nice thick pipe going into the cat, so that should stop the engine being strangled. We will jump inside, I will show you some more. And just watch this plane going past. It sounds quite a fruity little thing. Yeah, so I put an exhaust, a microphone for the stereo in here, but it's not the right microphone. And I checked the box to look at the instructions earlier, and we have actually got the correct microphone for the radio. So I will do that myself at some future point, so that I can use the hands-free telephone. There we are. So I'm going to take this for a drive and let you hear and see it. Quick break in the action. It looks like an unmanned remote controlled aeroplane's about to take off on this little bit of a runway they've got left here at Westcott. So yeah, I'm going to sit here for a minute and actually watch this, because I'm fascinated by all things aeroplane. So the other thing that we've had done are the plugs. Coils were actually okay. So yeah, that was Tom Force's recommendations, to get out of the motor. Has it changed things? Yeah, I think the car is actually quieter when it's just being driven normally, but when I drive it a bit more spiritedly, the exhaust note has definitely changed. Down to 30 and we're pretty quiet. Yeah, but I'm glad we did the plugs because they were pretty manky. Carbonised is an understatement, that's for sure. Right, we've got a delimit, so I'm just going to drop it down into third, make sure that we're not going to go into the back of anyone, and give it some beans. Really pleasing note, but it's not invading the cabin at all, which is what you want. It's the people you're driving by, you want them to know you've got a V6, I think. But yeah, this is going to be nice on a nice long cruise, because just sitting at 60, 70, it's not going to be too noisy in the cabin, which is good. So we need to get this car back to Tom Force so he can finish off trying to get as much power out of him as he can. And I must shout out here to Colin from Robson Rover Repair, who sent me some very interesting kind of thoughts, having done it himself many times. So we will share those in the return trip to Tom Force, which I don't know will be quite yet. We've got a busy time coming up, so. We'll hopefully be able to make a trip back to Herefordshire very soon. But I've got to thank Austin for doing the exhaust as well. Got lots of shout outs like that, and the plug. So that's jobs well done. This is really enjoyable. Really enjoyable motoring. Quiet though. Normally this car would, this kind of speed would be making a bit more noise. We need to turn left here. I'm going to be very interested to see what this car does do on the dyno now that it's got new plugs and a much better front pipe, cat pipe for the exhaust. Oh. So thank you for watching this little update video from Beards and Bangers. I wish you well wherever you may be watching from, and I will see you again very soon on the next episode. Goodbye.